Hi, welcome to part 2. Base hoodie, what we really want is all the patches and the polar bear. This is the main event, honestly. Firstly, we're going to be making the polar bear on the back, because if something goes wrong, I at least have a chance to try to wash it off, and I don't want to end up ruining some of the patches. Now, fabric paint and I don't have a very good history. I kind of suck at using fabric paint. So I decided that every time I would go to the store, I'd buy a different version of fabric paint other than the one version that I had. After collecting all these, I was gonna do 2 tests. One, using all of them just as I wanted and as I pleased, you know, not following the rules. We don't follow the rules when we make cosplay. And then another test, following the rules on the back of all of the bottles. Well, most of the bottles, practically all of them, have the same phrase on the back, and it says, fabric can be washed after 72 hours. What? Why does it say that after 72 hours fabric can be washed? What does that mean? And why is it 72 hours? That's like 3 days from now. I don't have time for this. I don't have time to sit around for paint that can be washed. Like, yeah, you can wash your regular clothes, but they may stink. What? Should I be washing it? Should I? I don't know. So forget that. I'm not doing that. I don't have time. Honestly, I have time. I just don't want to do it. No. So, instead, I'm going to use the fabric as I please and attempt to follow the directions up until the weird 72-hour mark, because I don't like that. Let me move these around. I have like 5 sets of fabric paint. It's all different brands of fabric paint, so we're basically going to go down the line of each brand and then see which one's the best for the final product. Do you see this lovely pile of loose fabric? This is why you save your scraps. It's for tests. It's for stuff like this, when you're not sure whether you should be doing something or not. So, throw that out. I cut out nice pieces. Your pieces, they don't even have to be like square pieces like these. They could just be little tiny pieces of scrap, fabric. So for each one of the brands that I found, I got a white one and a black one. And the way we're gonna do this is we're gonna do a white square, a black square. We're gonna do a black square with white layered on top of it and a white square with black layered on top of it. That way I can see, how the colors transfer over each other, and if I have to do multiple layers so that you can see it, because the polar bear, it kind of seems like it's a mix of white and black at times, white on top of black, black on top of white. Either way, we're going to test it out, and we're going to do a white bar on the bottom, because I have glow-in-the-dark paint. Oh my god. I mean, how cool would it be if it glowed in the background? So we're going to test the glow-in-the-dark on top of all of the whites for each test. Now, I know this is kind of a weird thing to do. I just don't want to end up finishing my polar bear and not end up liking the fabric choice that I picked. Fabric paint choice, the thing that I'm doing. Either way, let's get into it. We're gonna go down the line. Alright, first test, we're using Tulip Slick dimensional fabric paint in white and in black. Now, I don't know what you're seeing. You're probably hearing me in the background talking, but you'll probably see a time lapse of me painting all this and then close-up shots of the end products. Now, on the back of the instructions, it says shake well, hold tip to surface, and squeeze gently, let dry flat for 4 hours. Alright, the next one is also Tulip brand, and it is brush on fabric paint, ultra soft and flexible, and black and white. Now, these have the same instructions on the back. It says lay flat to dry for 4 hours. Now, unlike the one before, the Tulip Slick, you're actually supposed to draw actual shapes with. It's supposed to be, 3-dimensional, but this will come out flat, so it'll probably be just slightly different. Next up, we have Puffy 3D Paint, works on almost everything in white and black. And this, same as before, dry flat 4 hours. A lot of these say permanent, but then they say wait 72 hours to wash it. So is it really permanent? This one was new to me, and I think it's going to be the same as the Tulip Slick because it's supposed to be 3D paint. You can't see it, but I have them all laid out at the edge of the desk. That way I don't end up like mixing up which one is which. The fatal error. Right now, we have made it to my fabric paint of choice, which isn't even fabric paint. It's fabric median. This, it's called Martha Stewart's Crafts Tintable Fabric Median, and it says, shake well, mix 1 part median to 2 parts paint. After painting, air dry 24 hours, then heat set before washing. Now, this is what I've been using. Now, sometimes I go back and forth between actually using this and not using this. Sometimes it's, you know, a win, sometimes it's a flop. It really depends on the texture of your fabric. And the paint I'm using with this is Apple Barrel in white and black matte acrylic paint. We have made it to the final test. This is what I do when all my other fabric paints fail and the fabric median ends up thinning out my paint too much. I just straight up use the paint. I mean, if you don't really care that the texture is gonna be kind of thick, why not? Try out using just paint. And of course, I'm using the same Apple Barrel as before in black and white matte acrylic paint. Jeez, can't talk right now. There's a lot of paint around me. I'm surrounded by paint. All right, I'm completely done painting everything. Right now, we're gonna let everything sit for 4 hours, and then I'll be back to see which one looks the best. It's kind of a rainy, dark day, but let's do this. So I didn't actually come back in 4 hours. It's the next morning. I'm a little late. I wanted to give everything time to dry. And you know what? Let's rank them all. Let's rank them all right now. So starting with the first one we did, Slick Tulip Paint. I mean, it's bad. It's disgusting. I mean, after 2 layers, it soaked in very quickly. It's straight up awful. It's straight up awful. Bad. You know what? I don't even want it on the table anymore. Like, it's just that disgusting. All right, next is the fabric paint. Now, the fabric paint, for some reason, has sparkles in it, and I'm not sure why, but I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I love the sparkles. Next is the puffy 3D paint. Just as bad, if not worse, as the Slick Tulip. It is disgusting. Now, each time I've done this, the black goes in perfectly. You can see everything, but like the white, it's some weird, like you just dump milk on your fabric. This is bad. Look at that. That's 2 layers. That's 2 layers of white, and it's not good. It's not good. We're taking that off the table too. If you're trying to paint with 3D paint, 3D fabric paint, don't do it because it's not worth it. Do not do it. All right, definitely my favorites are the fabric median and the actual paint. These came out the most opaque, but the one downside is that they're too thick and the fabric doesn't move as well. It kind of like locks the fabric into the shape that you had just made, and I kind of don't want a giant thick thing on my back that I can constantly feel that isn't moving with me while I'm wearing it, right? Even though I love it. I mean, from afar, they look great. From afar, they look great, and then when you look up close, you're like, oh, that's kind of like that's like a thick piece of thing. It's not molding very well. So honestly, if you're on a time crunch, straight up use paint. Straight up just use paint. I mean, if you want like the what is it, the opaqueness of the color, just use paint. I mean, yeah. Fabric median, if you can't find the right color and you're trying to like make a specific color that you can't find, right? Use fabric median, get a bunch of paint, and you know, make the exact colors you want. And fabric median, it is a little less thick, but I mean, It all depends on the fabric you're using. I'm using, I believe, I don't know what it is, it's hoodie fabric, but it sinks in real quick. If you're not using a fabric that has like these little, you know, these marks that paint sinks in and water sinks in, then you're totally fine. It's gonna lay over beautifully. So we're gonna set the paint and the fabric median aside because those are both too thick. So I think my paint of choice is the fabric paint, and I did another test because this was 2 layers, right? And from afar, it looks nice. It looks nice, right? From up close though, it still has kind of that red tint of the fabric. So I thought I would go in and attempt to do 4 layers. Now 4 layers, oop, dropped it. 4 layers looks pretty nice. So I thought, all right, I'll do the time, I'll attempt to do this right and paint it nicely in sections, layers, you know, let it dry in time, all that jazz. So for this, we are going to be using the Tulip Brush On Fabric Paint, ultra soft and flexible, and for some reason it has sparkles in it. I don't know why, but why is it so pretty? The glow in the dark, kind of a hit or miss. On some of the fabrics it worked, on some of it didn't. It didn't work on any of the 3D paint. It worked a little bit on this, and it worked the best on the actual paint. So I think it's because I didn't wait properly for the paint to dry before I layered over some glow in the dark, but we'll still try it. We're still gonna use it. Now, the worst of the bunch being this one, being the puffy 3D, works on almost everything, disgusting. Because it looks like a nasty milky white, I'm actually going to be using a tiny little paintbrush in this white to kind of make my design on the back. That way if things go wrong, you can't even see it, and I'm going to be painting right over it, right? So I'm going to be using this paint as kind of like my sketching pencil as opposed to my dark Sharpie line mark of the fabric paint. Does that make sense? Either way, thank you for sitting through this odd test with me. I hate doing stuff on the final project and then I seriously regret my life. If you have scrap fabric, you know what? Test it out because you may get got yourself. Alright. Get ready for a heckin' long time lapse of me drawing a polar bear, and I think it's an album cover on the back of a sweatshirt. And I need to try to figure out how to get my camera up on that light because we're doing a top-down view. Let's do it. Let's get it. I'm tired. Oh my god. I forgot to bring my water down here. I'm thirsty too.
Hello and welcome to what may or may not be a 10-minute rant on the painting process of the back of this hoodie. This has brought me down to a whole new level of just tired, confused. Why am I doing this with my life? You're currently looking at a solid 40 hours of footage. 40 hours of me painting the back of this hoodie. I can't believe it. I still can't believe it. Even now, in my editing program, I had to group all of the clips together, fast forward them by 10,000, and then once I put them in their own group, then put it to 200. So if my math is correct, you're looking at the sped up time lapse of 20,000. I am beyond done. I'm beyond done. I don't like posting my cosplay videos, you know, in the middles of other videos. I like to post one after another, part 1, part 2, simple, but I couldn't get it done in time. There were days where I was working on this for 8 hours a day, and then I was busy other days. Oh, I couldn't do it, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you're getting this video incredibly later than part 1. So, for starters, the polar bear on the back is a Joy Division Unknown Pleasures album cover combined with the Supreme Being Mount Bear t-shirt. So, I'll flash some pictures on the screen of the Joy Division album cover. At a certain point, the lines stop and they end, and I really I had a picture on my phone and I went down line to line and I counted. I think it was about 52 lines each, and I was precisely making sure that I had the exact number of lines on each side. Now, because of the paint choice I did, and because of my camera, this took way longer than it should, and I was going incredibly slow. I didn't want to overlay white and black because then it was creating gray, and I didn't want it to be muddy. So the paint takes 4 hours to dry, and my camera has 4 hours of footage. So I'd go until my camera had footage, and my camera takes about an hour to take all of the footage off. So that being said, there were certain days where I'd paint as much as I could, transfer over the footage, and then wait the night for the paint to dry, and then just keep going. Now, once I was done with like a layer of white and a layer of black, of course I waited. I had to wait 4 hours in the middle of the day for that layer to dry. Now, how I did it was I took the worser paint to draw out all of my lines, and I did mess up a couple times, but at a certain point everything seemed to be going good. I layered over that first layer, all fine and dandy, and then I did kind of like a weird layer of black like blotches to kind of give it a little more texture. And of course, I ran out of white paint, so that's also great. Then after that, I did another layer of white to make the lines better. Then I did a layer of black, then another layer of white, then another layer of black, and then another layer of white on top of that. Now, each section, each layer, probably took me a total of 8 hours. And then as I did each layer, I started getting more like detailed, and it started going slower and slower, and it was taking me double the time after each layer. This polar bear Joy Division has broken me entirely. It is very hard to sit and paint for a long amount of time. If you're doing this, if you're gonna paint it, I recommend trying to do like 1 to 2 hours a day for like 2 months, and then you're golden. You're golden. Honestly, there's I think it's a Snap story or an Instagram thing, and you can see the back of his hoodie, and you can tell that it's actually a piece of fabric sewn onto it. So you know what? I'm gonna flash the whole picture, and I'm gonna leave a bunch of links to a bunch of reference photos in the description, and you'll see like what the thing I was going for. Either way, if you can print out this image on a piece of fabric and just sew it to the back of the hoodie, please do that, because this is so hard. I don't even know why I painted it. Like, I knew it was a piece of fabric sewn to it, but I was like, oh, I want it to be a part of the hoodie, I'll paint it. I'm a fool is what I am. This painting thing ended up taking so long that I just dead stopped. I couldn't do it. I didn't end up finishing the face on the back because I didn't know whether I wanted it to be the actual face that it was, or if I wanted to draw like a cutesy kind of polar bear face. Didn't do that. Didn't finish like painting the last white layer across all of the lines because I couldn't do it. I was moving my hands incredibly slow. I wanted it to be perfect, and I was like really intense about the details. So if you're gonna paint this, it will take you a while. And from afar, it looks like it's completed. From afar, it looks done, but when you look up close, you'll kind of see where my like third layer of white kind of stopped and begins. So I apologize again for how long this video took to post. Yeah, this I probably am gonna have to finish this at another point. So please expect an update video at some point. I'll talk about that more at the end of the video. It really does take a while to do. And yes, I'm happy with the results, but it's more in the moment that I'm angry at myself for not giving myself enough time. And didn't help that in Premiere Pro, you're maxed out at 24 hours, so I kept having to shorten all of the clips and then re-put in the footage again and again. Overall, just this second part, I have 50 hours of footage working on this hoodie. That is more than the stocking one took. Making that stocking dress, that took me 24 hours. We're looking at double. We're looking at double the time for it's just a hoodie. It's just a hoodie. I never thought this would be like this. Why is it gonna be like this? Oh, I never thought it would be like this. Honestly, you don't even have to have a polar bear on the back of your hoodie. It's totally fine. Just get a red hoodie and just wear it. People will know who you are. All the effort I put into this, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. Just that this was really hard for me, and yeah, I'm sorry the video is kind of late. I was busy doing this. At one point, I did bring the hoodie from downstairs in the sewing room up into my room. That way I could work on it better, because I listen to music when I sew. I don't like when people get home. I kind of just avoid going downstairs so I'm not like annoying everybody. And I was like, oh, let me bring it up into my room. My room's way too dark to be painting, and then the shadow of my hand was covering it, so that was a big fail. I think I mentioned this already, there was a moment where I ran out of white paint, and I thought this is ridiculous, and my mom took me to Joann's, and they had the same brand, but they didn't have the same type of white, and when I layered it over with the new type of white, it ended up being a little more opaque than the original white I had gotten, which then made me even more upset that it was a slightly different kind of white than the white that I had started with. So, if you're gonna paint this on, you're gonna need like, I ended up getting like 16 ounces of white paint, and even then I'm not done with using it. You know what, you're gonna probably need 10 ounces. That's probably way too much, but get yourself 10. You're gonna need 10 ounces of white paint and probably one thing of black paint. The black paint, not that much. It's just the layering over and over again. It'll take a while. So, thank you for listening to my rant.
Oh my god. Oh, another one. What? No way.
Here is a small mid-check of the hoodie actually on the mannequin and the back of it. And from afar, see, it looks super nice. Totally fine.
Alright, so we're gonna talk about patches. Over the last 3 years, I've been slowly collecting more and more patches. Now, as the Be More Chill musical has gotten more popular, the hoodie has gone through multiple generations and patches have been moved, patches have been replaced, or taken out completely. I don't know. There are a lot of patches. They're everywhere. They're all over the thing. In the beginning, I'm so sure a lot of people just got whatever patches they wanted, but because I knew that there were specific patches, I'm so picky when it comes to cosplay, you know? And feel free to get any patches you want, but for people who are like me and who want the exact one, this part of the video is for you. I just get so picky, and then when I find out that something isn't right or it's slightly off, then I look at it and I'm like, no, because I'm not happy with it. So, we're gonna go over all of the patches, where they're placed, and the patches that I got, the patches that I didn't get, and the ones that aren't even on the hoodie at all. So, let's begin. Alright, we're gonna start off with the 33 Cadet patch. Now, this patch cost me $13.26, and I got this off of Etsy. It is very big, very big. Now, this is going on... Well, technically, if you're wearing the hoodie, it's going on your left side, but when you're looking at the hoodie, it's going to go on the right side. Now, it's big. This is a big patch. But it's lovely. This being probably the most obvious patch on the thing. Like, you see it and you're like, duh. But yeah, there's that patch. Next is the Halo Bunny patch, which cost me $5.99. This, it kind of goes right below the 33 Cadet one, slightly over it, slightly on top of it. Now, if you're looking this up, just look up Halo Bunny patch, and this came up when I looked it up. So, yeah. You'll probably get a couple of other results, but when I looked up Halo Bunny, this should come up. Alright, continuing on with the front of the hoodie, we have the Rise Above Racism patch, which this is actually a cloth that I bought. This cost me $3.69. Now, you could probably just get a piece of white fabric and paint over it. Now, this is going to be on the lower right side of you on the hoodie. So if you're looking at the hoodie, it's going to be on the lower left side. Now, they have actually replaced the spot of this. This used to be on the very bottom, and above it was another patch, and they have since moved it a couple times and replaced it with a different Rise Above Racism patch. So I don't know which one they're using now. So there is a black version, a black and white version of this, but I have the red and white version. So above that is the Bob Marley patch. This is above the Rise Above Racism one. This patch cost me $9.72. These patches, they're starting to rack up real quick. As soon as I figured out what the patch was, I had to get the exact patch. So this is above the Rise Above Racism one, which is where it used to be. Now, because they have a different Rise Above Racism one, underneath the black and white one is actually this Pac-Man patch. Now, this patch I actually bought before they had that version of the hoodie, I believe. You know, like I didn't see this on the actual hoodie, and then as the hoodie had iterations, this patch appeared, and I was like, great, I already have it now. But now that I already have that area with the patches done, I'm actually going to move this to the other side and set it underneath the other patch that I don't have. So this is gonna go, looking at your hoodie, this is gonna go straight down underneath your cadet and your Halo Bunny, right, on the right side towards the bottom, kind of at the bottom. Now, what would go above this is the Cure patch. Now, that patch is from a band called The Cure, and I couldn't end up finding it. I found a cloth piece, and when I went to order it, it was gonna cost me over $20 after shipping, and I was like, there's no way I'm spending $20 on a piece of cloth that's worth more than how much I spend on some fabric sometimes. So I didn't end up getting it, but I will flash a picture of it up on the screen. That is a patch that I'm going to make. I'm just going to get a piece of white fabric eventually and add it onto my hoodie. But for now, we don't have it. We're going to take a trip to the back of the hoodie because at a certain point, they started putting patches on the back of the man's hoodie. Why do they keep adding more? They keep adding more patches. They keep adding more patches, dude. Dude, I'm so stressed. They have so many patches on this hoodie, and like we don't even know what all of them are. Not even George himself knows what's on. Okay. In an effort to figure out if he knew himself what the patches were, I found tweets. I found some tweets. And somebody sent him a tweet that said, "What are the patches on Michael's jacket? Please, you're my only hope." And he said, "I don't remember." But they are just an assortment of bands and Alien and other random patches. We'll never know. We don't know. And then they started putting stuff on the back. I literally was going through live footage, breaking it down frame by frame, because he kept moving. The man, he kept moving. I can't see what he's wearing. Oh my god. Oh my god. And he keeps moving, and I'm trying to figure out what's on the back of him, and they keep adding patches, and I can't see it. But you know what? We're hella close. We're hella close. So, all right, on the back right shoulder, we have another Bob Marley patch. It's rust. Sorry, is it? No, this isn't Bob Marley. I have it under my Bob Marley patches. It is Rasta Smoking Cigar patch, and I spent $11.03 on this, and it's gonna go right back there. So, I don't know if I've mentioned this yet, but pretty much all of the patches aren't even ironed on. You can iron on your patches, but when you look really closely, they actually look like they're hand stitched on there. So I'm going to attempt to hand stitch on pretty much all of the patches. So now we are getting into another patch that I do not know. Now, this patch that I don't have, so angry because you can see it clearly on the man's shoulder. It's right there. It's right there. This is called the Blue Angular Cat patch, and I found it. Wasn't available. I even made an account to get into this website, and it wasn't available online. It goes literally right here. So I'll put up a picture of that and the site if you want to attempt to stalk the site and get it. Alright, so now that we're over to that side, we're going to be going down the right arm. So when you're looking at your hoodie, it's probably on the left side if you're laying your hoodie flat. Going down the right arm, we have at the top the Bowie patch. This cost me $2.75. Below that, we have the Disney Oswald patch, which cost me $16.87 on eBay. This cost $16. $16.87. Now, a little history behind this patch. The patch that came before it was something called a Tongue Bunny Vintage Roast Incorporated. Now, this patch I couldn't find for the life of me. It's Vintage Roach Incorporated Tongue Bunny, and I could not find it. Now, when I first wanted it, I couldn't find it anywhere, and I was like, what am I going to use to replace it? Because it almost looked kind of like a zombie, and I couldn't tell what it was years ago. So I originally got this Plague Bunny patch, which was supposed to be the spot for that, and since then they've replaced it with this. So this patch I have no use for now, and I'm not really sure if I'm going to use it or if I'm just going to put it in a random spot. Moving on along the arm, kind of towards the bottom of the wrist, this another Bob Marley patch. It's called Bob Marley One Love patch, and I spent $5.28 on it. Isn't that cute? These are all very cute. If I'm not holding it up well to the screen, hopefully there's a closer version of it that you can see. But yeah. Some of these patches are like real detailed and nice, and you know what? I'm thriving. Okay, next patch. I cannot pronounce this. I can't pronounce this. I spent $4.49 on it. Bjork? I think it's called. Do you know that? Okay, this is from a band. Do you know that band? The girl goes like, it's oh so quiet. Shh. Shh. This. It's from a band. It's kind of, where the Bob Marley patch is, closer to the bottom. It's kind of like on the side of the forearm. So that's where that patch is. All right. Let's flip to the other arm now. All right. Things are about to get just a tad bit confusing. Another patch I bought before it actually hit that hoodie, rainbow patch. Now, a lot of people buy their own patches, and this one was a reoccurring one, so I decided to buy it. And then it hit the patch, so I thought, great. But the placement has since changed of everything. So, the hoodie that I remember seeing had this patch, this turntable patch, and then below it was this Beastie Boys patch, and that was the placement of it on the side of the arm. Now, since then, the Beastie Boys patch has come up, and the rainbow flag is below it. Alright, so that's just a little bit of background knowledge. So now that we've covered that, on the left arm, from top to bottom, we have the Beastie Boys patch. This cost me $8.43. Well, now, don't you tell. It's something like that. I'm close. My mom loves Beastie Boys. This took a while. I couldn't figure out what this patch was because I couldn't read it, and it took a hot second to figure it out. But there we go. Underneath that, for $2.50, pride flag. Very lovely, too. I actually ordered another patch when I ordered this one, so I'm very happy with it. I'm glad some of the patches that I ordered have been coming back, you know, so I'm like, oh, now I don't feel like such an idiot for ordering one that wasn't originally on the hoodie. Towards the left of the arm, we have this turntable patch. This patch costs $6.49, and right smack next to it we have the application amp patch. This cost me $12.66. So they're basically placed like here and here on the arm. That's a little, there we go, there. Yo, these patches are heckin' expensive. Heckin' expensive. And finally, below those, we have the Mean People Suck patch. So, at the time, I didn't have this patch. So, I was going to end up using this cassette patch. Now, the Mean People Suck patch, that patch cost me $14.13. Patches are so expensive. And, oof. The cassette patch cost me $2.80. Now, at the time, I couldn't find this one, and I actually couldn't read what it said, and I was like, what does that say? So I was going to end up using this one in replacement for this one. But now we have this one, and we have this one, which I kind of, like, couldn't decide, right? So, we got those. Now I have an extra cassette patch, which I don't know if I'm going to use. I'll probably find a random space for it. But we have it. We have it. Now, getting into the last two patches that I ordered, the patches on the back, I couldn't end up figuring out what they were, so I'm pretty sure that covers all of the patches on the hoodie. If there's anything I've missed, please comment it because I'd love to know and I'd love to give the actual patch. I'm just so serious about actually making sure that it looks perfect or like replicates what I'm trying to make. This patch I ordered along with the rainbow one, and I thought it would be really cute. I was missing a lot of different patches, and I really wanted something to fill in that extra space, so I got this, and I also got this one is by far my favorite. It's a chill pill. I mean, come on. Be more chill in the pill. This is perfect. This is a perfect patch. Why isn't this one on the hoodie? Either way, I'm probably going to end up fitting these just wherever I want in spots that I hope they don't end up putting more patches in. Now, I mean, the search for patches are never ending. Even after this video is done and posted, I will still be looking for these patches and updating this hoodie as best as I can. So, yeah. I'm sorry if I'm looking in the wrong direction. I'm recording this at my PC and I'm not looking at the webcam. Hey you. So thank you for being here on this patch journey. I hope this has been informative for you. Now, these patches cost me a lot of money. And girl, I'm gonna tell you straight up, pull up to your local Hot Topic and go to that bin that has like, you know, the stickers and the pins. Find the one with the patches and just grab a handful. Get the ones you want. I'm telling you, if you're spending more than $6 on a patch, it ain't worth it. Because over time, it builds to a lot. My need to be precise has cost me so much money. So much money. Like in my app, all of the black and white patch, I had so many patches that I had to group them into sections in my Cosplanner app. All of the black and white patches cost me $40. I say, it doesn't matter whether or not you get the actual patches or whether you get the ones that you want. It's about being creative and, you know, being cool like Michael is and having that kind of style and flair. If you're making your hoodie, I recommend getting patches that are unique to you, you know? Michael has bands all over his and weed. So get something that you like. And for everybody, all the other people who are obsessed with having the exact thing, ooh, you're gonna want to stalk eBay. You're gonna want to stalk eBay real hard. Real hard. Hopefully throughout this entire thing, you've seen me actually hand sewing the patches on. So, hopefully after this, it jump cuts to the end.
And here it is. Here is the whole finished hoodie. Over 50 hours of time put into this. And here it is. Making the hoodie, part 1, was so much easier. I wish I could go back and tell myself that it was going to take a lot more time than I thought it would. But overall, I think it looks fantastic and the patches bring everything together. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'm not really sure when I'm going to wear this, but I really want to wear it out now because I've been waiting to actually be Michael at a convention for 3 years now, so I should break it out at some point. Here are the items that I totally forgot to mention. I actually bought shoes, a wig, and headphones for this cosplay, and they each have their own set of prices, so that added up. And here you can now see my Cosplanner app, which had a huge list of like a bunch of patches and everything, and all of my progress. I use this app to help, track how I'm doing. You can see when I've started it, how long something has taken me, the elements, and I didn't put in the hours, but you can see how much I spent in total on everything just for this hoodie. So that's great. Please look out for an update video. I'm probably going to be posting an inevitable part 3, an updated version of the polar bear, and I'm going to try to search for more of the patches, figure out what the back patches are, maybe make a couple patches. Either way, part 3 will happen eventually. So, thank you so much for watching. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me, and I hope you have a lovely day.